Okay, awesome. And the slides will be linked. I'll send everyone an email with the link to the recording and the slides. And then also I will link the slides in the YouTube video too, so that if you ever have to go back and watch the YouTube video, you can also pull up the slides. Okay, well, let's get started. So if you're here, you are hopefully wanting to make your 2021-2022 year DECA-mazing. So welcome, and we will get started. We're going to do updates first. I know a few of you are here for those updates, and then I'll let you know when the updates are finished and when we'll move on to going through the professional development portion, which will be a calendar year of DECA, and some things you can do as an advisor, and some things you can do if you're an overachieving advisor and have some extra time. So that way, if you need to leave, you can. So let's go ahead and get started. It is recording and it looks like it's working, so we can move on past that screen. Okay, so while this presentation is going to focus mainly on August through May, I think we all know that DECA is 365 days of the year, but this specific presentation is just focused on those school year dates that we are in the classroom with our students and that sort of thing. So this will focus August through May, but know that there are DECA opportunities and things like that that do happen in June and July as well. Okay, so before we get started, if you haven't seen the official DECA 2021-2022 promo video, we're going to watch it now.
Getting to see all my fellow members was absolutely worth the wait.
Students in DECA inspire me because they're passionate about everything they do, no matter what career they want to go into.
This is what I wanted to do in my life. These are the people I want to be around.
DECA made me feel comfortable within myself, and it gave me a lot of friends. It really is a family.
DECA is a home of opportunity for anyone looking to boost their career.
In DECA, I was able to have my voice be heard and implement real change.
From day one in joining DECA, you will build your momentum and gain leadership skills that will carry you through high school, college, and your career.
Okay, so here at DECA, we have these competitions. You get to take everything you've learned in the classroom and bring it all together in real-world scenarios. And if you do really good, you end up on that stage with DECA glass in your hand.
Let's face it, college is expensive, but DECA provides opportunities to receive scholarships.
DECA does not need to end after high school. You can take DECA to college and continue to maximize your momentum.
No matter what your interest of study is, DECA has something for you.
DECA prepares emerging leaders and entrepreneurs for careers in marketing, finance, hospitality, and management. And we love every second of it.
DECA helps you
advance your leadership,
build your competitive advantage,
amplify your impact,
and maximize your momentum. From day one, you will
Create unforgettable memories.
build new friendships, find your place,
and make a difference.
don't wait.
Take the first step.
And join DECA.
Okay, and so keep in mind that that's on the DECA YouTube page. You can share that with your classes. I've also linked to it on our Oklahoma DECA homepage. So very accessible for you guys to find. And I encourage you guys to show that to your students if you're needing some extra help getting them hyped up for our DECA year. Okay, so some upcoming Oklahoma DECA dates. These are all, most of these are in your important dates from the BMIT division. So you can find them there. They're also on our interactive calendar, which is on the footer of every page on the Oklahoma DECA website. So you can access it there. But the first one coming up is our FLC registration deadline, which is September 10th. Keep in mind that students do not have to be submitted through the membership system to go to FLC. We use it as a recruitment tool. We also know that sometimes getting students turned around in the membership system, that's a really short window for September 10th. So feel free to complete your FLC registration prior to doing your membership if you need to. OKC Dodgers Day is on September 21st. That information is on our website. Underneath the resources tab, there's a Dodgers Day page on the website with the flyer. Alexa Major is our contact at the Dodgers, and she can help you if you want to pay with a PO and not use the credit card link. So feel free to do that. One major change that I pointed out in the email I sent out today, if those of you who are going to the Dodgers Day, please arrive at 9:30 rather than 9:45. The executives who are serving on the panel want to make sure that they have plenty of time to answer questions before we need to break for the game. Okay, trading pin designs are due on September 30th. Information for that and who to send those to, how to submit those and what file formats and things like that are on the FLC page of the Oklahoma DECA website. So you can send those in and represent us or be eligible to represent us at ICDC with a trading pin. The DECA Inc. first membership incentive is on September 30th. So, and I do apologize for that typo there. If you submit your membership by September 30th, then you can get some goodies from DECA Inc. They're providing some free competition materials and things like that. So be sure to check out DECA Direct and those emails you're getting from DECA Inc. On that, I'm getting a monthly or a weekly membership update on Mondays. So that's kind of telling me where we are as a state. So DECA is really going to be pushing membership, especially these first couple of months. So if you can get your members in early, then please do so. Okay, FLC, October 18th, that's going to be in Norman. And we have changed up the schedule this year, so please check out that schedule of events if you have not yet. And that'll be from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Okay. Okay, so let's do a quick check-in on the year. So if you have logged into your chapter membership site for this school year, will you please put a 1 in the chat? Okay, awesome. If you have not, try to get logged in. And if you can't access your membership site, send me an email so I can make sure you have your password, your chapter ID, and any other information you might be needing to get started there. If you need assistance rolling your chapter forward for the new year, graduating those members and things like that, please also let me know. I can help you with that. And if you have a chapter financial block, be sure to contact DECA Inc. so that you can take care of that. I think we have maybe one outstanding balance at a state level. So most of those financial blocks are going to be for DECA Inc. So you'll need to call them and resolve that. Okay, so if you have talked to your students about DECA, will you please put a 2 in the chat? I'm hoping that we can see a 2 from everyone in our meeting today. Perfect. The beginning of the school year is the perfect time to talk about DECA, get them ready for everything that is to happen during this year. Again, if you are needing assistance talking to your students about DECA, let me know. We have several videos available this year, a lot of things on our website that you can use. And then DECA has a whole membership kit that you can pull out this year if you need to. Okay, and if the big one, if you have registered members, so if you have hit that submit membership button on the membership site, will you put a 3 in the chat, please? Awesome job, Ada. And I also saw your all's FLC invoice come through too, so you guys are on it. Okay, High Plains has submitted members, awesome job. Okay, so just remember, you can register members throughout the year. But as soon as you do register members, they're going to get access to a lot of items with DECA and Oklahoma DECA, specifically our practice test in Oklahoma DECA. So as soon as you register those members, they're going to start getting access to things that they don't have when they're not submitted members. Very good. Okay, and who has thought about or planned to go to FLC? So last question, you can drop a 4 in the chat If you have planned to go to FLC, thought about it, awesome. And for our marketing teachers, both conferences, both FLC and CDC are required. Wonderful. Okay. Well, let's move on. Okay, and just a reminder, I know most of you know this, I am so happy to help you guys problem solve as you need it, so just don't hesitate to contact me. My email address and my phone number are there. Let me know how I can help your chapter throughout the year, but specifically right now to get started and make sure that you have a really smooth start to your new school year. Okay, we've already shown this, but we do have the new theme for the year, which is maximize your momentum. So be looking for that. You can use that in your classrooms and on all of your promotional products and things like that. Most of you should have received your chapter kits. If you did not receive your chapter kit, please let me know so that we can make sure that your address is correct in the DECA system and that it didn't get sent back to DECA Inc. So just let me know about that. You should have received your chapter DECA guide for 2021-2022, which is kind of the, it's like, it stays right by my desk. It's the perfect tool to answer questions all about DECA. So that's also online, but having the printed version is helpful. Okay, so I am seeing that some of our schools haven't received anything. So we'll check your mailing addresses in the system and find out where those might be. You should also be getting some posters and then some products from the vendors. Oklahoma DECA is doing something a little new this year. We're going to be sending out some much smaller chapter kits than what DECA Inc. sends out, but we're going to be sending you all some information from Oklahoma DECA and our partners. So those are going to be getting out next week. So you can be looking for those. We have some things that our partners are sending physically and then also some virtual resources as well that you'll get a link for in your kit. Okay, so if you haven't seen it yet, Oklahoma, I'm sorry, that says BPA, Oklahoma DECA's new calendar is on the footer of Oklahoma DECA's website, and that will be updated all year long. You can print it, just know that we'll be updating it. If something comes up, we'll be adding it to that calendar, and you can access that at the footer of every DECA webpage. So right here, you can click right here and you can open that calendar. Okay, this year we're going to be working on the Curriculum Integration Committee, which is going to be taking all of our DECA courses and marketing courses in Oklahoma and providing activity examples and things like that that connect our courses with DECA. So we'll be working on that throughout the year. We're going to start with our most top courses in Oklahoma marketing and move through the list. I'm hoping to release all of those resources by Oklahoma Summit 2022. But as they are finished, we will put them on our website. You'll be able to access them and all of that. So I know DECA is amazing at sending out resources. We're hoping that this will just be one more resource that you can use in your classrooms. So if you are interested in serving on this Curriculum Integration Committee, email me, let me know. If you did indicate on the end of the year survey last year that you were interested, I already have your name, so you don't have to email me. But yeah, we would love to have your help with that. We know that our most valuable resources in creating this will be our current advisors. So let me know if you're interested. Okay, practice tests. Like we mentioned before, as soon as you submit your members, we can get them into the practice test system. This is the same system that they use for state testing. So it's valuable in that they get to know the system. They can take as many tests as they want, as many times as they want, and it's automatically graded. Those are going to be open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. I will be sending you all the password tomorrow morning. So you will get that tomorrow morning, and as you have your members submitted, then you will be able to start testing. Okay, and just a reminder that this year we started our Chapter Diamond program. So you can find all of the levels in the downloadable flyer on our website. It has its own tab under the resources section. Chapters will be awarded at CDC 2022. So you will be able to chart your activities from CDC 2021 to CDC 2022. We do know that some things will be, we'll have to make exceptions for them because of the virtual aspect and because things were canceled and things like that. So we'll release more information about that on the submission form. But for now, try to complete as many activities you can based on whatever level you hope to achieve this year. Okay, so that concludes all the like basic reminders and updates. So we'll be moving on to our monthly to-do list and things like that for the rest of the session. So everyone's welcome to stay, but that is all the updates. I do have a question. Do the practice tests show them the correct answers as they go or just their final score? I do believe that they show them their correct answers. I know that's an option, so I'll make sure that that is checked in the system. But I do think we have that checked right now, and that's how we did it last year. Okay, any other questions about the updates? If you already heard this other part, are there any virtual options for FLC? So right now we do have a digital post-conference option. It's a lower cost option. You'll see it in the registration system. It's $15. And what that looks like right now, it is not a hybrid or a virtual conference per se, but it's going to be workshops that are recorded. You'll have access to them later, and you can also get the conference t-shirt. So we are monitoring how things are going in Norman as a state with Oklahoma Career Tech, all of that. We do have a backup plan to switch virtual if we need it, but at this time we just have the post-conference digital option. So that's up to you guys. Okay. And we created that with that in mind. We know it's not a full conference experience, but we know some people won't be able to travel due to COVID, maybe due to fall break and that sort of thing. So like I said, right now it's not a full conference experience. Our keynote wasn't contracted to do a virtual option just because of financial reasons. We couldn't do both. So if we can, we'll offer you any recorded options that we can get recorded and that sort of thing. And if for some reason, I had this question on the phone earlier today, if you do register for the full version of FLC and you cannot travel after registration closes or something happens and you're quarantined or something like that, just work with me and we'll make it right either by canceling your registration or getting you to that lower one or seeing what we can offer those chapters. So we'll figure that out on a school by school basis. Okay. And again, if you have more information or if you cannot travel and you know that you might need that lower cost option, let me know and email me and I can kind of explain what we are what we currently have in it, how that'll look via access to that. We're not, I don't want to say we're not promoting it, but because it's not a full conference option, we don't want to promote it as FLC just because it's not the full experience. So, but it is available. Okay. Okay, so let's get started with August. If you have not done these things, don't panic, it's okay. But these are some things that you can be doing in August within your chapters. So before school starts, it's always a good thing to check and see how your chapter dues and finances will be structured. Make sure you check with your schools. Some schools may not want you to charge a lab fee or dues. They may want you to pay for it all out of your activity funds or something like that. You may not have activity funds to use and that sort of thing. So just check and see how that's going to be structured at your school. Check to see how fundraisers are structured. Do you need to talk to your board about getting fundraisers approved for the whole year, or can you just do what you want? See what you need to do there. If you are new to the school, check to make sure that you don't have any financial holds. If you have a financial hold, you are not going to be able to get into the membership system, register for conferences, or do anything DECA related until that financial hold is fixed. And I think we have one in the system right now that is like $5. So it's a shame that $5 is keeping that chapter from registering their members. So just check into that. And then the earlier you do that, the faster you can fix it. Once school gets started, introduce DECA to all of your students, and judging by all the numbers I saw in the chat earlier, it looks like all of you are doing that, so awesome job, thank you. And then, in August, it's always a good idea to plan something fun for the students so they can get excited about DECA. Okay, if you're an overachiever in August, you can elect officers if you haven't already, plan a member recruitment drive. DECA has that member recruitment kit this year, so utilize that. They're really pushing for member recruitment so that we can rebuild after COVID. So there are a ton of resources for you out on the DECA website and on DECA Direct. Plan ahead for FLC. You can start thinking about substitutes, travel, that sort of thing, your POs. Start working on your chapter's program of work. We'll talk more about a program of work and what it is, but it's basically your goals for the year kind of mapped out in calendar form. Participate in DECA Advisor Training Series. Last year, this was virtual and free. I know that they've already been in talks with the Chartered Association advisors so that they can provide something similar this year. And then this year, Oklahoma's provided you with logins to teach DECA. So this is just one more resource for you guys to pull from. They are starting their webinars next week, next week. So I'll be sending you guys some of that information. It'll be a combination of virtual webinars and some live sessions as well, which are also virtual, just not pre-recorded. So you can watch those, participate, ask questions. I think the first one's about the stock market game that DECA hosts. So if you're interested in doing that, that would be a good webinar to watch. Super overachievers can set up their chapter social media presence. And if you do that, if your school will allow you to set up your own DECA chapter account, make sure you follow Oklahoma DECA and tag us in something so we can start promoting your chapter. Okay, September gets a little bit busier. You can start collecting your membership dues and submit membership to DECA Inc. Remember that DECA Inc. will take all of the national dues money. So don't send state to Oklahoma DECA. You're going to send that whole check to DECA Inc. and then they'll send us back our portion of those dues. The only thing that you'll pay Oklahoma DECA for is Fall Leadership Conference and State Leadership Conference. Everything else goes to DECA Inc. Okay, you can elect your officers. If you're a brand new chapter, or maybe you don't have very many students interested yet, you can try to elect just a few officers. The president, vice president of leadership, and vice president of marketing might be a really good place to start. So, and then you can always add more to this as your chapter grows. Okay, start talking to your chapters about FLC ahead of the registration deadline and make plans to attend. If you do need to put generic student names into that registration, you can. If you need to put student first, student last as their name, just make sure you get with me to let me know that you're doing that and so that we can get the names later. The only caveat that I'll say there is that it does require a t-shirt size when you register. So if you are registering random students with generic names, the t-shirts will only be swapped out first come, first serve. So I do order some extras, but I can't guarantee sizes if you don't put in the sizes you need. Okay, register for FLC, plan for your sub, arrange for your travel. Remember that both conferences are required for you as marketing teachers. Hold a meeting or two depending on your needs. For September, you might need a regular chapter meeting and you might need a chapter meeting about FLC for those who are attending FLC to make those plans and things like that. And then if you can, start creating your chapter program of work. We encourage you to do that in the August, September, October range so that you can plan for most of the year. Okay, students will need to sign the code of conduct, and then after they all sign the code of conduct, you as the advisor will sign the statement of assurance and then send that to Pamela Porter. You want to do that by September 10th, and that statement of assurance tells us that all of your students sign the code of conduct. So we don't want all of your students' codes of conduct, we just want your statement of assurance. If you are looking for those, they can be found on the Advisor Quick Link section, which is under the Resource tab on the Oklahoma DECA website, and it's in the first row. So you'll see both of those linked there. And you just want to hold on to those codes of conduct in case something happens. You can bring them with you to FLC, you can have them on a cloud drive or something like that, just so you can access them. Okay, if you're an overachiever in September, you can watch the DECA Inc. videos, trainings, and webinars that they've been posting. So they post those regularly, usually on Vimeo, DECA Direct, and YouTube. Check out the 2021-2022 DECA Guide. Like I said, it should be being mailed to you, but if you haven't received yours yet, they are online. The collegiate version is also online for those of you who are doing both. You can request a state office or chapter visit. That is under each of the high school and collegiate pages on our website. You can fill out that form. We already have had several visits and we are planning several more. So those are always a good thing. State officers can come talk to your students to get them excited about DECA, to do an officer installation. We have one visit coming up where the students are talking to every class with that at one school. So they'll be kind of promoting DECA to all of those students. So we're up and flexible for anything. So just let us know if you want us to visit. You can start fundraising. Remember to see what your school policies are. Don't forget to sign up for DECA Inc. emails if you're not already receiving those. That should be the DECA Direct, and that comes out weekly. So let me know if you need that. Okay, you can also download the membership theme artwork if you haven't already. That's going to be on DECA.org, so you can look for that. And then we will post it on our Oklahoma DECA website too, in the download center. Okay, look into attending Power Trip. As many of you have probably already noticed, the New York experience was canceled due to COVID and safety concerns. However, Power Trip is still a go. So if you are interested in attending Power Trip in Boston, then look at that and register that. Again, that's through DECA Inc. I am seeing a question for all teachers. Do members need to sign code of conduct or just the officers? I usually have them all sign one. So it is, we do recommend all members. And basically, if you're taking them to a conference or doing something official with them, they need to sign that paperwork. Okay, watch modules on Teach DECA. Again, we're really pushing Teach DECA. This year we paid for it as a state for all of you. And we can track and log what hours and what things are being watched on Teach DECA. So for us to justify spending that money again next year, we need to see that it's being used and that you guys are in the system watching the modules, because if it isn't, I really can't justify spending that money on something that we're not using. So be sure to do that. And then remember that Teach DECA sends out like a summary of what's being used on Teach DECA, what questions they're getting, and DECA Direct through email every week. So if you haven't been receiving those, let me know and I can get with Team Try to get you on that list. Okay, so in October, attend FLC. That's October 18th in Norman. Finish submitting your membership and work with your finance office to send in your payment. No, I know we always get lots of panic calls about finance offices taking longer and they may not have their money for conference in before conference. That's fine. Most of you pay after conference or around conference, so don't worry about that. Just make sure you can meet that membership or that registration deadline on September 10th, and then we can take care of the payment. Okay, make sure you hold your meeting in October. That meeting could be about anything. It could even be FLC related. Just make sure you're holding your monthly meetings and keeping track of those with minutes. Start discussing competition with your students. They can look at the DECA guide to see what competitions are available. There's also several resources on the DECA website that your students can look at to see what competitions they want to do. Participate in DECA Inc. programmings and offerings. DECA will start releasing a lot of calls that students can participate in, leadership workshops, and that sort of thing. So you can always promo those to your students. I imagine that they will have some sort of virtual component to Power, so you could always do that as well. Okay, continue working through your program of work. And just a caveat there, your program of work, if you set a goal for a month, say you wanted to do a community service project in October, but FLC got really busy and you guys just didn't get to it, no one is going to come back and say, hey, why did you not do this? You won't be penalized for it. Your program of work is just your goals for the year. It's to help keep you on track, help keep your officers on track, and help you plan for the year. Okay, if you're overachieving in October, you can look into some of the extra DECA opportunities that DECA Inc. offers. Again, those one DECA calls and things like that are great opportunities for students, and information on those can be found on DECA Direct. Start planning competitions with your interested members. Earlier planning is always better. And just keep in mind that we're doing our competition training initiative this year. So we're really putting a push on competitions. We'll have trainings for both advisors and students all year long. So October would be the perfect time to start thinking about what competitions your students are interested in. You can host a community event. I know several of you already host trunk or treats and things like that to help your community get to know DECA. So October is a great opportunity for that, especially with the students feeling really excited about DECA and leading right after FLC. If it's an election year, you can always plan or help host some mock elections and things like that to get your DECA students more involved at school. You can talk to your students about running for a state office. Those applications are due on December 1st if they are interested. Plan local activities to celebrate DECA Month. DECA Month is in November, so if you plan in October, you'll be all set to participate in those. Okay, and then don't forget to utilize Teach DECA. Okay, so in November, November is DECA Month, so just keep that in mind as you're coordinating your programmings and your meetings and things like that. DECA Inc. and Oklahoma DECA will have opportunities available for you to participate in, ideas of things you can do locally, things you can interact with on social media on the website, and things like that. So November will be very DECA filled. Fill out an application if you're running a state officer. Those are not overnight applications. They're about 30 pages and require administrator signatures, parent signatures, letters of recommendations, and things like that. So I recommend starting early and don't try to turn it around in a day or so. Work with students on competitions. We will be hosting our practice virtual districts late November, early December. So keep that in mind. I'm still working with Team Try to nail down that final schedule, and we'll get that to you guys once we have it. Hold a meeting in November. So we always want you to be holding your monthly meetings. If you are going to be state testing during CDC, which will be almost every member, make sure you sign up a testing liaison for state DECA. That's on the website, and it does have to be filled out every year. So I erase the whole contents of that form every single year, and that's so that we send the passwords to the right people. So if you have a testing liaison, make sure that you fill out that form. It's under the resources tab. I believe it's the very last item on that resources tab. So fill that out, and I will send the passwords, links, all of the testing information and instructions to that liaison. It cannot be a DECA advisor, so it cannot be you. It can be a counselor, it can be the BPA advisor at your school, the FCCLA advisor, it could be a principal, it could be anyone other than you at your school. Okay, participate in DECA Month activities. We talked about that. And then again, our competitive events training. Okay, if you're overachieving in November, you can start planning your social events for the holiday season. If you're doing food drives or things like that, you can plan for those. That's always good to do in November. Let members take the practice test on DLG prior to CDC. Again, those are available after the members are submitted. So you could start doing that now if you wanted, but definitely in November, December, right before state conference, that's always a good idea to let them practice and see what those tests look like. You can plan a multi-chapter event and invite the state officers to talk about running for state office, what being a state officer means, that sort of thing. We've done one of those in the past, and it had some really great turnout and things like that. The state officers are always happy to share their experiences to get others involved in that opportunity. Okay, and then make sure you're hosting DECA Month to the best of your capabilities. I know November and December get really crazy, but if you can host DECA Month, it shines a light on DECA for your school, your community, and we can always promote it at a state level too. Okay, and something you can do for DECA Month, and we're working on doing at a state level, is to coordinate maybe some resolutions or proclamations to declare DECA Month, just to get those legislators and other people that we need to advocate DECA to involved and knowing about DECA. Okay, so in December, the SEC application is due on December 1st with the screening a couple weeks later. You can be planning out your competitions and practice times if you might need some times outside of school hours to practice those things and that sort of thing. So think about that ahead of time. January gets kind of crazy right before CDC. Make sure you hold your meeting or a social. Sometimes in December, those two kind of are a combination. You can start planning your logistics for CDC, travel, your substitutes, all of that. Registration for CDC opens right when you get back from your winter breaks. So we kind of just start right off the bat in January planning for that state conference. Okay, again, let your students take practice tests, and then you can also look into your students applying for DECA scholarships. Those are really big scholarships. They're really important, and it's a whole process. We had some people on the finalist list last year for those scholarships, and I'm hoping this year that we can have some who are awarded those. Okay, overachievers in December can nominate colleagues and students for the CDC Awards. Those are things like our Impact Advisor of the Year Award, the Vision Award for students, and then we also have a Chapter Service Award. So you can be nominating those. Those become open for submission once the CDC website page is open, which will be in December. Okay, host an appreciation event for teachers. The holidays are the perfect time to do that. Participate in a community service project, and then keep prepping for competition and using Teach DECA so that we can log those hours and hopefully reap the benefits of incorporating that this year. Okay, in January, make sure you submit your CDC registration and get your transportation and things like that, hotels scheduled. January gets really busy. So right when you get back from winter break, just make sure you have noted all of those deadlines that are happening and things like that. Schedule times to assist your students with competition, schedule when they'll be testing and all of that. We'll have like a 2-week window open for state testing. So you'll want to coordinate with your testing liaison when your students can test with them and things like that. So that just similar to the practice test, there will be a window and times when they can test. So within that window though, you're free to schedule however you need to. Fundraise for CDC, make sure you're following your school guidelines there, and then submit your written events and take online tests. So for all written events, they'll be required to submit their paper ahead of time so that we can do the penalty points and grade that portion of the competition. And then again, we'll have a window for online testing. Okay, if you're overachieving in January, you can coordinate some mock competitions, practices with maybe your advisory council or special guests. If you have some business people in your community who would be great judges for your students, let your students present in front of them. That would be great practice for them. One more way that they can prepare for competition prior to CDC and get some feedback. You can nominate your colleagues and students for the CDC Awards, and then continue using Teach DECA to help you out. In February, make sure you attend CDC in its entirety. Don't just come to competition day and then skip out on the rest. All of it has a purpose and meaning, and all of it can be beneficial to your students. So we'll have one full day of competition, the opening session that evening, and then we will have a half day of awards. So always a really great time in Midwest City. So be sure to attend that. It's February 16th and 17th this year. So that'll be a lot of fun. And we're planning that fully in person right now. We do have our backup plans ready if we need to move to those. Okay, so after you attend all of CDC, you can breathe because you made it through state conference, and that is crazy. It's a big accomplishment. So know that getting through all of that and getting your students through competition is just a big success. So, but once you're done breathing, start planning for ICDC. You'll need to get into what hotels you'll be staying in, register your students, plan your finances and that sort of thing. We have one of the later CDCs, so it's always good if we can start getting into the hotels and marking our places within those. I don't know which hotel we're at yet. DECA has not sent out the housing guide for us to choose our hotel yet. So once I have more information on that and the cost of that hotel, then I'll let you know so that you can start planning. Okay, start fundraising for CDC if you haven't already. And if you are attending, make some ICDC competition, make note of all the ICDC competition deadlines. So if there's a competition deadline pertaining to ICDC, you definitely don't want to miss that since your students have earned that right to go. So if you need to submit something ahead of time or register, just make sure you have those notes handy so you're not missing those. Hold a meeting in February. We want to make sure you're holding those monthly meetings and taking your minutes, and then register for ICDC as soon as you can. That's a big thing. We just don't want you to lose out on conference hotel space. Okay, if you're an overachiever in February, we always post the state officer candidates online prior to conference. So before your students attend conference, you can have your whole chapter kind of research those candidates so they know who to vote for our next state executive council. You can send a press release to your local media to let them know how you guys did at CDC and if you'll be going to ICDC. So we do see a lot of those in February. I encourage you to do that so we can get some good publicity. Write thank you notes to those who assisted you during conference. So if your advisory council helped you judge competitions, or if you had people come and speak to your students, that's a great time to write them thank you notes. Your students can let them know how they did at competition and that sort of thing. And then you can always host a fun celebration for completing CDC because it is hard on you and the students. So everyone deserves to celebrate that big accomplishment. Okay, in March, you just want to prepare for ICDC. If you'll be going, we'll have signups for advisors to assist. We're always assigned to something to do at ICDC. Remember this year we will be in Atlanta, so that will be a lot of fun. We'll make sure you hold your meeting in March and then attend Oklahoma DECA's Winners Workshop. So that's part of our competitive events training this year, is that we will be holding the DECA Winners Workshop. Team Tri will be helping us with that. So we will have professionals and business people who will be there to help give students feedback based on their competitions to help prepare them one last time before they go to ICDC. Okay, if you're overachieving in March, you can start planning out tours and activities in Atlanta. I was there mid-August and determined to find a lot of fun things for us to do. And so as that starts getting put out by DECA, I can be giving you guys my experiences with all of those. We went to the aquarium, kind of walked around the Olympic Park and things like that. I can tell you there's going to be a lot of exciting things for your students to do. They did confirm that there will not be any festivals happening in conjunction with our contest. So that's really great. Frank Peterson, he confirmed that. So I think we're good for now. And there's also not going to be any concerts happening at the Falcon Stadium. So that'll also be good. I know that that caused a headache for everyone. So Pink will not be around. Apparently Kanye was at the Falcon Stadium when we were there touring, but he probably won't be there when we're there for ICDC. So don't worry about that. But I know the biggest thing was the festivals. So we won't have any of those to deal with. Okay, and then Teach DECA will have some tools for you to prep for ICDC too. So just don't forget to be using that all throughout the year. It's meant to help you all year long. Okay, in April, attend ICDC. That's at the end of April. Hold your meeting and check with your school and graduating seniors if you would like DECA sashes and cords for your graduation ceremony. I do encourage you to order them early from Shop DECA so they don't run out, so you don't experience shipping delays and that sort of thing. So, and if you need that link, just let me know. Okay, if you're overachieving in April, start planning to complete officer interviews before school lets out. It's our office always recommends and promotes having your officer team elected at the end of the school year so that they can start the new school year kind of running and can help you talk about DECA and help you plan for the year. So if that is a possibility, start doing that in April and May so that you are ready in August. If you want to write a blog post about your year and submit it to be highlighted on our website, then feel free. I always love to highlight and showcase our chapters. So it doesn't have to be long or fancy or anything like that. A couple of paragraphs and a photo are great to put on a blog, and we will promote your chapter. You can host or co-host with another group at your school to celebrate teachers for Teacher Appreciation Week. Just one great thing to do, and it's always good if DECA is out there appreciating teachers and getting our name out there. Okay, in May, celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week. We definitely want to let our teachers know that DECA appreciates them and all that they do throughout the year. You can host an end of the year chapter event, something fun. I know a lot of you have some ideas for that you already do. If you're electing your officers in spring, conduct those, and then make sure you're tracking your community service hours and charting those for the BMIT division. We'll do that similar to we did this past year. Okay, overachieving in May, you can post an officer installation ceremony if you'd like a state officer to come to your school to conduct that. You can ask. That's not just something we offer in the fall. You can have a state officer visit your chapter all year long. And then it's always best if you debrief from the year in May prior to leaving for the summer. You know, write down what went well, write down what went wrong, and that way you don't have to think about it when you come back in August. Okay, so for those of you who are new to DECA, just a breakdown of the competitive events. So within all of these, there's a lot of sub events, but basically there's 4 different categories. So we have our role play events where students can show up to conference and conduct a couple of role play interviews and things like that. It's a lot of fun. It's more think on the spot kind of events. And then we have our written events that do have a paper attached to them. A lot of these do have a test that you have to take. So just you'll be wanting to make sure that you're looking at the DECA guide to know what's involved with each competition. And then between those role play and written events, they're broken down in between team events and individual events. So obviously individual is an event of 1, but know that the team events, some of them you can be a team of 1 and still compete in those. So students are allowed to do 1 team event and 1 individual event, but they can fall on either side of the role play or written events. Okay. And again, those are all found in your DECA guide, and we have them linked on our website as well. Okay, so how do you know if you're a quality chapter with Oklahoma DECA, especially when it pertains to your program and your 5-year evaluations and things like that? So you'll need a designated chapter advisor. So most of you have that accomplished. That's who you are. That's why you're here. You can elect or appoint your local officers. You're going to want to keep track of who those officers are. You want to make sure that you're paid and in good standing with state and DECA Inc. So make sure you don't have any of those financial holds or things like that. Evidence of student membership meetings, make sure you're taking minutes. That's how you can show those. You can save your agendas and show those to your program specialist and things like that. You don't have to send those in. I would just make sure you're filing those away. And then your local program of work, you want to keep that from year to year and make sure that you can show what you guys have planned. Okay, your marketing programs are required to participate in both state activities. So that's FLC and CDC. I know we made exceptions last year due to COVID. I don't have any official word on all of that this year. So just keep communicating with us about what your schools are letting you do and that sort of thing so that we can handle that on a school by school basis. Okay, so we've talked about program of work quite a bit. What is a program of work? Well, it's a map of your chapter's year. It's a set of goals. It can look like a calendar. We do have some samples on our website under the advisor quick links. I also have a blank one on the advisor quick links page that you can fill out, but feel free to make it your own too. It doesn't have to look like what is on our website. You can send those in to Pamela Porter. You do not have to, but you can. It's an action plan for the year. Most of the time it is sorted by month. You could also sort it by quarters if you needed to. We really just want to see that you all are thinking through your year, setting your chapters up for success. And it also helps your officers stay on task with those goals that you've set too. We do recommend that it's completed early. So if you're one of those schools electing officers in May, you could even complete it in May and finalize it in August. But most chapters do complete it August, September, even October around FLC time after they've attended FLC and get some ideas from other schools. And again, it keeps you and officers focused on all the important goals that you want to accomplish during the year. Okay, so we're almost finished, I promise. So this year we're going to continue to host virtual and in-person opportunities like this. I'll be alerting you guys as those come up. Anything virtual, I'll be recording, so you can always find that on our Oklahoma BMIT YouTube page on the Oklahoma DECA playlist. And then I'll always put them on our website as well. Okay, virtual resources. We will be keeping this page up. It was created last year during COVID so that your schools and chapters could have something to do while they were at home during quarantine, or if you were doing completely virtual, that sort of thing. So these are activities that can be done virtually if you do have a student who's at home, or they can be done in the classroom as well. So there's things like crosswords on there, scavenger hunts that will take them through the DECA Inc. and Oklahoma DECA website to help them learn more about DECA. One of our state officers has created a choose your own adventure role play that's on there. So we'll be updating that all throughout the year. Our state officers are in charge of what that page looks like. So, and each month they're being assigned to create a new activity or a new resource for that page. So be checking that throughout the year. And that's things that your students can access free of charge, 24/7. There's no login required. And they should all be really simple to get a hold of. Okay, chapter visits. We've talked about it a little bit already. If you do want a state officer to visit your chapter, there is the form on the website, or you can email me and I can get you to that form so that we can get you set up with a chapter visit. And then chapter planning. I know that every single chapter is completely different. All of our communities are different. All of our schools are different. Please, if you are struggling to set up your program of work or to get your chapter really going, let me know. I am so happy to meet with you one-on-one, either virtually or in person, and we can figure out a step-by-step plan for your chapter so that it can just really thrive. Okay, we are on social media. We'll be posting reminders all year long on social media. So if you're not following us, please do. We're probably the most active on Instagram, but we do post most of our posts on all 3 sites. And if you haven't seen our FLC promo, we can go ahead and watch it right now. Okay, and just some quick reminders. Registration deadline for FLC is September 10th. Hotel deadline, if you are staying overnight, is September 27th through the Embassy Suites. So make sure you're contacting them if you need hotel rooms. And then our pin design is due on the 30th of September. So I think with that, it is time for questions if you have any. So feel free to put those in the chat if you have questions. You can also just unmute and ask if you have a question.
Thank you for all the information.
Oh, you're welcome. I know it was a lot. That was a lot of information. So, but again, I'll put the recording. I should have time to put it on the OKB My YouTube today. So it'll be ready by tomorrow morning. And again, I'll link the slides in my email. Yes, so Abby, they'll be linked in the email I send out, and then I'm going to actually link them in the description of the YouTube video as well, so that even if you lose my email, you can find them on the video. Okay, so I'm going to stick around until the last person logs out of our meeting. So if you do have questions, I am here to answer them. But if you are good to go, then I don't have anything else to present. So thank you for being here today. Marie, I see you waving your hand. Do you have a question? Or are you waving to your group?
No, I was waving goodbye. And
okay, okay. Bye, Marie. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Paxton, I'm gonna email you for some login help.
Okay, yeah, email me and we can get you squared away. That's probably better than through email anyways.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll see you later.
Okay, thanks, Melissa.
Bye.
I had one quick question, Paxton.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Just in regards to the competitions, just did I hear you correctly that students can compete in one individual and one team?
Yes. So that's something that's at a state level. When they go to ICDC, they'll have to choose one of those to compete in, but at state, we'll let them choose which they want to do.
Okay, that was it. Thank you so much.
And again, so with that, we do always have a question on the team events. If they're a team of one, if that's allowed, that still counts as a team event. So even if they're doing that individually, as long as it is a technical team event, then they can do that even if they're by themselves.
Okay, but basically max of 2.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Chris. Let me know if you have any other questions.
Will do, for sure.
Okay,
You have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.